It doesn't matter what year it is because we all know that it's been the same for many years now. And that guy is pretty close. And this might be the most basic trim you can get in a Dodge Charger Challenger RT, I guess. Oh, shit. I hope that wasn't a police car. No, it doesn't look like, but okay. So it's hard to say anything new about this generation Dodge Challenger Charger RT. And by the way, I don't normally talk when I drive because that's something hard for me to do. It's hard for me to split my attention between doing two things, like drive and talk at the same time. But because I don't have that much time available with this car, I'm gonna try to combine and speak while I'm driving. So after all, it's really hard to say anything new about the Dodge Charger Challenger RT because there are tons of videos with these cars, and gosh, this sound. Can you get tired of this? I don't really think so. And I guess that's why the Dodge Charger Challenger sells so good, because you don't have to be that much of an enthusiast to want to drive this car, to enjoy this car. It's big, it's heavy, and it has a decent amount of power. And we're talking about the base RT. It's not even the Scat Pack or Hellcat or Red Eye, whatever. It's 360, I think it's 360 horsepower and about 380 pound-feet of torque. I'm not sure, I'll have to check it later. But the power delivery in this transmission, God, this transmission is just incredible. This is still the only automatic transmission I would drive over a manual transmission. It's just so good. You really don't feel like you want to shift the gears yourself, even though there's a manual mode. It's just very intuitive. And then there is something about those Hemi engines that make them sound different than other engines, and that's so cool. So yeah, the transmission, there are only two modes. It doesn't have the launch option or the performance pages, I think that's how they are called. It doesn't have any of that. Instead, it just has two modes for transmission and engine, and apparently it enhances the exhaust as well. And that would be well, normal. That'll be the normal and the sport, and that's really all you need, because the normal mode is really smooth, and I don't really feel any jerkness in the way transmission works. It's smooth, and it's good for city driving, really. And then when you turn it to the sport mode, that's when it gets really fun. It really gets sporty. The exhaust opens up, it becomes louder. No, you cannot get tired of that. In the sport mode, it's so responsive. It holds the RPMs pretty high, and it always feels like it's in the right gear. And then you have those aggressive shifts when you step on the gas. And this is the Challenger, and I drove the Charger RT as well, and it had a little better interior. Well, a better infotainment system, but for the most part it was exactly the same. And it's funny, I don't think it's that bad for its size and weight, really. When you put it in sport mode, it becomes stiffer, and I'm talking about the steering wheel. The rest of the car, the suspension remains the same. I can only imagine what a blast to drive would be the Scat Pack or the Hellcat, because they have the same transmission, but they have more power. That's something subjective, but don't forget the numbers, and I mean the sales numbers, and they tell a lot. The fact that this car sells so well after so many years without having that much changes done to it, that's something incredible. And you really drive it and you see why, because it's just such a joy to floor it and hear that engine revving up, and this transmission just does such a great job. So why would you need something else? And again, it's not a Camaro, which has a very poor visibility. It's not a Mustang, although Mustangs do pretty well, but it's still a smaller car. It's a full-size car for the most part. I'm gonna pause here and summarize all the mumbling, all my attempts to speak English you've just witnessed. Dodge Challenger is a very unique vehicle, as it represents the last standing example of a true American muscle car. And I can say that with confidence, as I've spent a week with each of its all-time competitors, the Camaro SS and the Mustang GT. Years have passed, but the so familiar shape of the Challenger has not changed. The body lines, the head and tail lights, the grille, everything reminds us of the 70s era. Can you recognize a 70s Camaro in the latest generations today? I don't think so. Truth to be said, the Charger has changed significantly too, but it is still very unique, as it is one of the very few full-size sedans to carry a big V8 in it, not to mention the crazy Hellcat version. I'm gonna call myself unspoiled, as I still believe that anything this size and maybe weight that has around 400 horsepower will make you feel that you're going fast, because all these horses are usable. There's one detail I forgot to mention about the Charger I had previously, and that is the launch control. In an entry-level V8 model, which is something very impressive. That will set your adrenaline level very high, or high enough so you can forget your problems at work. I'm gonna say a few words about the suspension, and namely that for the amount of power and weight a base RT Challenger has, the body control and stability on the road is pretty good. It is far from Camaro, but it is on par with a Mustang GT. I even felt like the 2019 Charger had more body roll than this 2020 Challenger, so maybe it's been improved. I'm not gonna stop on the interior. Every car journalist poured enough dirt on it, and people buy these cars anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. I can see now why Charger and Challenger are still so popular today at any demographic level. The reason for that is the simplicity and the powertrain combination Dodge decided to go with. You have one of the best transmissions on the market, combined with a family of legendary engines with plenty of power and low-end torque. Add to that a classic old-school design and you will have anyone happy to jump behind the wheel and floor the gas pedal. Year after year, Dodge is adding something different to his muscle car family to refresh the same cars, and it works. You start salivating when you think about a new model that now has different taillights, a new color, a factory wide body kit, more power, a limited edition version. There was even an internet debate over the factory lip protection insert that owners do not remove. Every year, Mopar fans are left wondering about what is the next crazy thing FCA will pull out of its garage. And boy, there are a few hot ones coming soon, because there's a demand for absurd, crazy cars, and we all like to talk about them. Speaking about the insanity, I have something interesting from the SRT division for my next video. So stay tuned, subscribe, and stay safe. I'll see you next time.